So you're thinking about embarking on your first solo wild camping trip, but you're a little bit unsure about kit, you're a little bit unsure about how to prepare fully, and you're a little bit unsure about where to go. So in this video, I'm going to try and help you out a little bit. So what I'm going to try and do is just give you the information from my perspective and my limited experience. So I am relatively new to the hobby. I've not done that many camps myself. And I would like to think that because of that, and that this information and limited experience from myself is fresh, it will then allow you to make the right decisions and gain the best experience for your first solo wild camping trip. So for me, I think that the first thing that you want to be asking yourself is, why do you want to do it? Why do you want to go out on a solo wild camp? And then based off that answer, you can then do the relevant research on a platform like, say, YouTube. You will then be able to work out what kit you need, where you'd like to go, and how to fully prepare for that first solo wild camp. So based on my personal experience, what I wanted to do was test myself, because there was that little bit of fear there. I'd watched a million other people solo wild camping on YouTube, which is, I mean, I'm fairly new to posting regularly on YouTube as well. But yeah, so I'd done a lot of research and watching other people do it. And it was just something that I wanted to try myself. I liked the idea of overcoming that fear of being on my own for that prolonged amount of time in the middle of nowhere and overnight in the pitch black. So that was why I wanted to do it, and that's why I decided to just throw myself in at the deep end. But obviously that meant that I had to prepare in a slightly different way than people that don't want to necessarily throw themselves in the deep end and are quite happy to try it out either in their back garden or down on a campsite, or, you know, go out and do it with a friend, which are slightly different scenarios. Okay, so let's just assume then that you're like me. You just want to get out there and you want to do it. One of the first things that you need to consider is the time of year that you're going to be doing it, because that then determines what kind of shelter and how much money you're going to have to be spending on a tent and a sleep system. So because my first solo wild camp was in the winter, it was January, and it was cold, and you just don't know what's going to happen when you're up in the hills. I spent, I think it was £200 on my first tent, and that was the Helm Compact one. And again, all I did was research, watched loads and loads of videos on YouTube, and then obviously came to the conclusion that for me and my scenario and the position that I was going to be in, the Helm Compact one was the perfect tent for me. In terms of a sleep system, I went out and I bought a 4-season sleeping bag, and I got that in the sale at Mountain Warehouse. And then in terms of a sleep mat, I didn't buy an insulated mat. I didn't spend an absolute fortune. I bought the Trekology UL80, and I got that off of Amazon. And again, it was all down to research and watching other people on YouTube. So the next thing for me to consider was, where do I want to go out and do this wild camp? Do I want to stay close to home? Do I want to go a little bit further out? Do I want to do it halfway up a mountain? Do I want to do it in woodland? And so that's what I did next, is I just started watching videos. I had a look where people were camping, you know, where are the best spots to camp so you're not going to be moved on during the night, etc. And for me, I decided that I didn't want to be so close to home. I wanted that fear factor. I wanted that test. So I was really throwing myself in at the deep end. Now again, not everybody is like that. You know, some people are going to want to be comfortable. Some people may choose a campsite. Some people may choose the back garden, and that's fine. It really doesn't matter. As long as you're getting out there and making a start, that's all that matters. But you've got to decide what it is that you want to do, and then build your way up to that first actual solo wild camp. Because let's be totally honest, if you're in your back garden or if you're on a campsite, can we really call that a wild camp? I'm not sure. You can if you want to. Look, everybody's free to label things however they want. However, you know, a wild camp to me is going out into the wilderness, you know, where you're at least half an hour's walk away from your car. You know, you are actually out in the wilderness, and that's why it's called a wild camp. As I'm filming this video, I'm actually walking through a campsite right now. It's called the Takaroo campsite on Cannock Chase. And if you sort of want the best of both worlds, then this is it. Because, you know, as campsites go, you know, this is about as close to actual wild camping as you can get. I'm not sure how much it is. They have got a website. I'm sure it's Chase Camping or something like that. But yeah, so, you know, you could, for your first time, choose somewhere like this. Okay, so you've decided why you want to do it and what you want to get out of it. You've bought your tent, you've bought your sleep system, and you know where you're going to go. The next thing is a kit list. Do you want to be taking a stove, or are you just going to keep it really simple and taking a packed lunch? You know, are you going to be able to carry enough water if there's a long hike beforehand? You know, you need to make sure that you are packing waterproofs and a first aid kit. Doesn't matter how much you check the weather, you need to be prepared, because the weather can just change like that, especially when you're up in the hills or in the mountains. So that's the next thing, is making sure that you're taking along the right kit. So that is pretty much the nuts and bolts of it, guys. It's not overcomplicated. You don't have to overthink it. Just make sure that you're prepared. It's all pretty much common sense. Just do as much research as you can. Do as much research as you need to. Make sure that you are prepared fully. You know where you're going. Someone knows exactly where you are. When you get to actually going out on your first solo wild camp, proper solo wild camp, the main thing is make sure you're prepared, you've got the right kit, and that you enjoy it, because you will never have that experience again. It's that simple. You will not have that experience again. So just make sure that you enjoy it. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. If it's been of any value to you whatsoever, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Go live your best life, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.